right, well, Attorney General Jeff Sessions' decision to draw back from the Russia investigation stemming from conversations with Russian Ambassador Sergey Kislyak. The Trump administration ousted former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn after he was caught lying about his communications with the ambassador. Rich Edson's live from the State Department with more. All right, Rich, of course, Kislyak is pretty well known in Washington. He is an ambassador.
He is, and he's the Russian ambassador, and we talk to people in the foreign policy establishment here in D.C., Shannon, and they say that Kislyak is very good at his job. He's a very visible ambassador in the United States. He goes out of his way in outreach. He meets with people here in Washington, but he's also outside the Beltway an awful lot, meeting with Russians and Americans. One member of the foreign policy establishment told me that Kislyak is known to engage people in debate and spend 20 minutes debating U.S.-Russian policy with them when other ambassadors and people of his level would never give these people the time of day. And, by the way, he does so in impeccable English. It is his job to learn as much about the United States as he can and transmit that back to the Kremlin, push for his government's position here in the United States. He was in nuclear arms control for some time, worked in the Russian government, has worked in the diplomatic space in Russia for really decades, and came to the United States in 2008 in his most recent post. So he's been here for some time, Shannon.
All right, so what do we know about his views on where we stand in the U.S.-Russia relationship right now?
Well, what Kislyak has said recently is that he believes that there's actually a lot of room between the United States and Russia to reach agreements, whether it be on counterterrorism, on climate change. He says that there's actually more that bonds the two countries than separates them. He spoke for about an hour, hour and a half at Stanford University in November, and he said, quote, "I'm frequently asked, are we back in the Cold War? And in my view, no. Because in the Cold War, there were irreconcilable ideological differences." He claims that Russia is a democracy and that Russia is a market economy, though he says that it is developing, and so there is a common bond between the two. But he does acknowledge and say that U.S.-Russia relations are probably at their worst point since the end of the Cold War. Shannon?
So you're saying there's room for improvement?
Yeah, lots of room for improvement.
All right, Rich Edson of the State Department, thank you.